We are picking up right where we left off in the first video. In the first video, we are about to make this extrude cut, cutting the the front of the flathead screwdriver. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. We added our dimension. Remember, this is half of 0.025. We used equal for both lines. We're gonna make this dimension 7 degrees by clicking this angle line and the construction line. And now we're going to cut. So we're going to click extrude. Okay, we're going to click remove, and we're going to click symmetric. Now you want to click symmetric. Why? Because if you look at this from the angle, you're going to be able to cut from the back and the front, both sides. If you zoom in and you see the example, you'll see that it is cutting both. If you don't click symmetric and you just click blind, you see it's only half. If we just click through all, it's only half. You need to click symmetric. Once you see symmetric, click check mark. Boom, that is the front part of our flathead screwdriver, looking almost complete. Our last part, if we switch it all the way back to our isometric view, we're actually going to add that last part of the handle. I can show you that now on the next page. So what we actually need to do is we need to sketch on the back side of the handle, and then we need to make these 4 rectangles. Once you make those 4 rectangles, we're going to do extrude cut. That's going to be the last handle of our flathead screwdriver, and it will actually be done with that model for this week. So first thing we need to do is we need to start the sketch literally by clicking that face. Remember that we can click the face of a model, right? And here we go. It's perfect right there. I'm going to click that bottom face. So we're going to go ahead and click right side. Okay. We're going to click this face to start the sketch. So you can click that face and click start sketch, or you can click start sketch and then click that face. And now we are sketching on that face, or at least on that angle. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to use are 2 construction lines. Click construction, click line. We're going to sketch out 2 construction lines. Like I said, we are moving a little faster than usual. That's only because you guys should be used to this tempo. And if anything, you can always pause and go back. No worries. We have 2 construction lines now. Then we are going to go back. We're going to go back and we're going to sketch out these rectangles. Now, bear with me because the way that these are dimensions are a little confusing. So the way that you can go about sketching these is sketching 2, right? And then using the mirror, okay? Using the mirror. So I can sketch the left rectangle. I can sketch the top rectangle. Excuse me. I see how I can dimension these to each, okay? And I'll just mirror it across the construction line. And if you're still confused, not sure about that, I'll show you how to do that in a second. So let's go ahead and use the corner rectangle. Does not matter how big these rectangles are, we're going to end up changing the dimension of them. Let's start with the top rectangle here, okay? We're going to make this rectangle here. That looks about good. We're going to go ahead and dimension this top rectangle. So the bottom of the rectangle is 0.275 to the bottom of this construction line. Let's do that now. Hit the bottom of the rectangle to that construction line. That's going to be 0.275. Okay? Good. Now, and it does not necessarily give us the top dimension, okay, but we do know the dimensions to the other rectangles. So one, we know that this is going to be 0.5. We're going to use that same thing here. We're going to make that 0.5. Okay. We do know that when we're looking at this, because it's 0.5, we do want this rectangle itself, right, to be 0.25 from this side, from the center point, right? Because that's how to make sure that this this rectangle is even. So it needs to be 0.25. Now we've shifted it so it's even right in the center. We know where that bottom is. And now we just need to go ahead and get that top side done as well. Now I'm gonna stop for the front because that should be about just where we need it to be before we do the other side of our rectangle. So good. We're going to switch to our left rectangle here. So let's do this one on the left side, this one on the left side. Okay. Same. We're going to dimension this to where that it's 0.5. We're going to do the same thing we did with the construction line, except we're going to do it with the construction line here. And I know this may be a little distant, but we can make it work to where we click this top line, we click the construction line, and we know that this needs to be 0.25. I'm going to click it here, 0.25. Okay, and I'm going to move the dimensions just so that we have a little more space on the torsion. Okay, now that's snapped where it needs to be. Now we can see that this is going to be 0.4 from this construction line to the top line. Click the top line to the construction line. That's going to be 0.4, 0.4, which also means we have to fix this bottom line where this is 0.275, right? So we're going to click that bottom line. We're going to click that construction line. I'm actually going to bring it over here. That's going to be, or excuse me, yep, 0.275. Okay. Now this is being 0.4. We can add that same dimension to this side. That dimension to the top part of the rectangle to the bottom, that's going to be 0.4. Okay. So at this point, these are all the dimensions you need. It seems like a lot. It really isn't when you take it one step at a time. This is 0.5. That means all the top parts of these rectangles are 0.5. This is 0.4 from the construction line to the top part of the rectangle. That means that this rectangle from the top part of the rectangle to the construction line needs to be 0.4. Last but not least, this needs to be 0.275 on the construction line from the bottom of the rectangle. That means that we need to do that for each bottom, 0.275, 0.275. Now let's make sure it's even, 0.275, 0.275, 0.4, 0.4, 0.5, 0.5, halfway, 0.25, 0.25. We're looking good. Let me check time. Oops, that's the wrong one. Good, we're making good time. Okay, with that, mirror. We're going to use mirror. We haven't used mirror before. And honestly, I don't use mirror that often in Onshape as well. But let's go ahead and select our mirror line. Let's do this top rectangle first. We're going to select our mirror line. Okay. Okay, we're going to select the entity that is mirrored. Let's go ahead and select all 4 lines of our rectangle. We're going to go ahead and click check. Okay, I want to come right back into our sketch. That's mirrored. Let's do it one more time. Select the mirror line. Now we're going to select the upright or vertical line. Then we're going to select the entities that we want to be mirrored or copied. We're going to go ahead and finish our sketch. Boom, we've mirrored, successfully sketched our rectangles, mirrored our parts. We're going to go right back into our sketch 3, double click sketch 3. Excuse me, you guys can tell I'm tired. Once we're in the sketch, we're going to go ahead and extrude. We are extrude cutting. This is the last step that we're going to need to do. We are through all extrude cutting. We don't need to worry about doing our symmetrical extrude cut because now we are at the point where we're removing all the material. If we change our view, we want to make sure that we have everything being cut. You can see our example. That looks good to me. Let's go ahead and click check mark. We're going to change our views. That looks like a full-fledged screwdriver. Okay, so if there's any questions, I did go through that fast. Like I said, we are at the point where we do want to start picking up pace. And we will actually start running through more of the vocabulary. I know that we did that a little backwards. We started with vocabulary, we jumped into modeling. We're to come back into vocabulary. And with that, if you guys have any questions, you all can ask a partner, a neighbor. You can ask myself. I'm here for help. However, you cannot improve if you're not spending the time in the program. You have to dedicate time. You have to work through it. You just can't simply go through this once and just get it off the off jump. You need to spend some time in the program at home. You need to study, and I hope that I can continue to make these videos to help you all out. So I hope that you all did a great job. Remember, I grade effort, not perfection, but I still need screenshots. So make sure that you make the attempt, make sure that you take screenshots, and you talk to me if you have any problems. Okay? With that being said, you guys have a great rest of the night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.